Further pictures from Tehran show rioters in action as anti-royalist partisans, supporters of the aged Dr. Mossadegh, set about their work of destruction. Target on which much bitter feeling was focused was the statue of the Shah's father.
The 1953 American coup.
The American coup of 1953 happened because Iran was found to have oil. The US and Britain jumped on this and tried to overthrow the Iranian government.
The American coup was a fight over Iran's oil between the British, Americans, and the Iranians, which, in end, ruined the relationship between these three major world powers. This is one of the reasons why there are so many problems between world powers nowadays.
The oil-rich kingdom of Iran and its pro-Western Shah, Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, witnessed a contest for power beginning August 16, 1953, between forces loyal to the Shah and those supporting the red-backed regime of Premier Mossadegh.
Mohammad Mossadegh rose to power in Iran in 1951, at which time he was 69 years old. He led the democracy-styled government until 1953. On August 19, 1953, Mossadegh's government was overthrown by the CIA. There is evidence that this was at the request of the MI6, although the organization has not admitted to having a role.
Kermit Roosevelt Jr., not to be confused with Theodore Roosevelt, the former U.S. president, was a Harvard graduate and served as an intelligence officer in the Office of Strategic Services. He played a key role in the CIA's Iranian-American coup of 1953. Roosevelt's first attempt at dividing the Iranian government failed because Mossadegh had learned of the plan. Kermit got a telegram from the CIA that said to leave Iran as soon as possible, although he ignored it. He came up with political rumors that Mossadegh had bribed Iranian agents.
Question number 1. Why did Kermit Roosevelt still want to follow through with the coup? Roosevelt had bribed military and police officers who he did not call upon for his first coup attempt. He believed, rightly as it turned out, that he could mobilize them for a second attempt.
How did the idea of having a coup even get into our heads? Back in the 1950s, British were in a partnership with Iran over the oil company. And the British owned about 80%, while the Iranians owned about 15%, if a little bit less than that. So the Iranians, under the head of Mossadegh, realized that, hey, this oil is in our country, it should really belong to us. As you probably expected, the British were not a fan of this plan. They took the case to two separate courts, but they both sided with the Iranians, saying that the oil should belong to them. The British were not going to give up. They took this matter into their own hands and presented the idea of a coup to President Truman. Churchill was the man who came up with this idea. Truman shot the idea down, saying the U.S. did not want to be involved in anything illegal. Dwight Eisenhower was now the President of the United States. Churchill wanted to try again, and this time he brought two brothers with him. Knowing that World War II had just ended and nobody wanted to take a chance with communism, the three men identified the Iranian government as communist-like. The President didn't want to take any chances, so he agreed. In 1953, the MI6 and the CIA met to devise a plan about how they were going to attack. representatives of the United States and Iran were told to put up gray propaganda. Examples of this gray propaganda is how the agency's Tehran station started to spread word of this propaganda by passing out anti-Mossadegh cartoons in the street and writing and printing negative articles in the local news. About 2 months after the gray propaganda started, Princess Ashraf, the Shah's sister, was under pressure from the CIA to go to Tehran to convince the Shah to sign the royal decrees that would dismiss Mossadegh. On August 1st, 1953, a meeting took place including General Schwarzkopf and the Shahs. In this meeting, the Shahs refused to sign the CIA written royal decrees that would fire Mossadegh and name General Zahedi as the Prime Minister of Iran. Mossadegh started to realize that America and Britain were trying to overthrow the Iranian government. The Shah finally decided to sign the royal decrees and fled the country. Then General Zahedi took Mossadegh's place, and the United States made sure that the world knew it. There were riots in the streets after the signing of the decrees was publicized. Zahedi came out of hiding to show his support for Mossadegh being gone. At the end of the day, Zahedi was the official Prime Minister of Iran. In the end, the American coup made foreign relations difficult between America and Iran because of the betrayal of trust between the two world powers.
Yeah.